So I've been thinking about one of the main reasons that people stay held back or away from their desires is because they are unwilling to feel vulnerable. And so people stay in their stories of, I'm going to be abandoned, I'm going to be rejected, I can't make the money, I can't afford that, because we're unwilling to feel the stretch and the vulnerability of opening ourselves up to receive. Because when we open ourselves up to receive, whether that's intimacy, a soulmate relationship, more money, we open ourselves up to the level of fear and distrust that is there. Whenever we say yes to something, we activate the parts of us that are in fear of having it. And that's usually something to do with, I'm not safe. And so our survival's triggered. And instead of being with the feeling of the vulnerability, which can be very intense, but nonetheless is actually just a feeling, a pulsation of energy moving through the body that is asking to be felt and to be received. And one of the ways we stay in survival and we push our desires away is subconsciously we go, oh, I don't want to feel that. That feels too intense. That feeling is telling me that I'm not safe, I'm going to be abandoned, I won't survive, I'm going to be rejected. Because the mind has a massive story about what emotions mean on an individual level. We all have this association. Oh, when I feel that feeling, it means this. And because I'm being told it means this, I'm going to look for evidence to tell me that that's true, to affirm why I feel the way I feel. For example, I'm feeling scared, I'm feeling fearful, I'm feeling like I'm going to be abandoned. So then the mind looks for evidence to prove to us that it's true. And it keeps us where we are, and it keeps our hearts closed, and it keeps us shut away from our desires and from growing and expanding. And so when someone is repeating certain cycles, whether it be with relationships or money, they're unable to feel the true vulnerability of opening themselves up to receiving. And they're choosing to instead stay numb and therefore stay where they are. So whenever you are repeating a cycle or you're perpetually being triggered by the same thing, it's because you are unable to meet the full vulnerability and intensity of a feeling. And it's always some kind of vulnerability. That's why we subconsciously attract unavailable partners, because we're unwilling to feel the vulnerability of being loved and of being safe. That's why our bank accounts stay stagnant, because we're unwilling to feel the vulnerability of trusting that we can receive more. And trusting that Mother Earth has got us. She's holding us and she's abundant. And so much of our stagnancy and patterns are actually a fear of trusting, a fear of being safe, a fear of being loved. Because our nervous system is so accustomed to fear and survival that we're actually resistant to breaking through and to letting more in. And on the other side of you attracting that soulmate relationship or receiving more financial abundance is you being with the immense vulnerability of that distrust and that lack of safety that you feel, or maybe unworthiness or guilt or shame. But when you can actually welcome that feeling in and let it have you and receive it, it actually becomes a power. You can harness it to create more abundance, to be more magnetic to the things you want. But as long as you're resistant to feeling the vulnerability of your next level or of that soul-aligned relationship, you will stay where you are, stagnant and unfulfilled. And the feelings that you're resisting are actually the key to your power, to your aliveness. And the people that are really growing and expanding are the ones who are willing to feel a bit uncomfortable, who are willing to feel the heaviness and the density in their system. And the feminine power path is actually us getting comfortable and enjoying the density and the heaviness in receiving more, being open to more. So if I'm speaking to you right now and you're wanting to make waves in 2020 in your business, in your purpose work, or you're wanting to call in that soulmate relationship and there is a lot of vulnerability around what that means for you, then please reach out. And I'm really talking to women who are willing to stretch and invest in themselves, who are willing to back themselves and claim their worth to the universe. I've been having a lot of downloads around money, and something that I'm learning is that we have been making money wrong and making money a perpetrator for so long now, and it's not serving us. And so one of the codes that I'm wanting to share with the women in my containers is how to enjoy money and make friends with money and use money as a tool for freedom. But as long as we are carrying this shame and guilt around money that we're not really willing to feel, we will reject money and keep money at a distance. And we will sabotage our own growth and expansion and joy because of that shame and guilt that we're unwilling to feel and be with. And the delicious thing is that at the core of all this shame and guilt and fear and unworthiness is love, is bliss, is aliveness, is eroticism. But that all depends on your capacity to receive the feeling and really be with it and let it take you. But so many of us, we just stay in the mental analysis. What does this feeling mean? Why am I feeling this? Should I be feeling this? Who does this make me? And then we look for the evidence to affirm that the feeling must be true and therefore we must not do the thing that's triggering the feeling. And then we say it's not in alignment because it's scary. And when you get out of your head and stop making meaning out of what you feel and why, you can actually let that feeling in and receive the pleasure and the aliveness and the love within it. And this is really the feminine power path. And this is where this new paradigm is taking us and is what we're being called to embody. So please reach out if you're intrigued by what I'm speaking to and you feel the truth in it. Get in touch. 2020 is the year to make these quantum leaps and to really expand our capacity to receive and enjoy life and enjoy all the messy, dense, heavy, fucked up, weird parts of us that we love to resist and shame. Thank you for listening. I love you.